Hello and welcome everybody. Every Friday Bandai updates their website, and while I was expecting regional pricing today, Bandai decided, you know what, we also have April soon, so let's reveal the new TP wave instead. Many people were asking themselves, will we get another wave of reprints from really good staple cards that are quite expensive, at least in America, or will we get new support? And we get new support. So support for old decks. Every deck got 2 new cards. It's like really funny that I just made the video talking about support cards, and there's even one deck here, which I had on my list, that got support. We will go over every card, over every support, and talk about how impactful this might be. That being said, I'm a blue and black player mostly, so my opinions on those cards are pretty strong. My opinions on everything else might not be as strong, and I'm trying to also figure out for the green and yellow part, okay, where does this might fit? Is this good also generically maybe? So I'm not only thinking about the archetype itself, but also about everything that is surrounding that, right? So let's start with the first cards, which are Favorable Situation and Impulses of Sadness and Rage. This is support for the GT, Son Goku and Android 18 deck. Cheers to Brads. I hope you love this support. Maybe you can give your opinions about those cards in the comments below. So auto limit 1. When this card in your hand is discarded by one of your skills, draw 1 card, discard 1 card from your hand, then choose up to one of your red Z unisons with 5k power and add 2 markers to it. Activate battle, limit 1. If your leader is a red Son Goku GT card, activate up to 1 activate battle skill on an extra card with an energy cost of 1 from your hand by paying its skill cost. And the next time you activate a red extra from your hand during this turn, reduce the energy cost by red. Second card, Impulse of Sadness and Rage, activate main for 1. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, play up to 1 Android 18 Deadly Combat Settle from your drop, then place any number of red extras from your drop under that card. Activate Battle Limit 1, look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, place any number of mono red extras into your drop, shuffle your deck, draw 1 card, then choose up to one of your red cards and it gets 10k power for the battle. Let's start with the obvious one, the go-to deck, right? So what do we have here? This deck is full with specific extra cards, and basically what the first card allows you is a weird way of activating another skill from a red extra from your hand by paying its skill cost. And the next time you activate a red extra from your hand, it's reduced. So you're paying 1 in advance basically to activate another card, and then if you want to activate another card, right, a second card, the energy cost gets reduced. So for example, you pay 1 to activate this effect, and then the next time you activate, for example, this effect, it's for free, which is really, really cool. So this seems to be a way to getting things out cheaper. Also with the leader ability, it's a really nice idea. So draw 1 card, discard 1 card from your hand is really, really huge, and you can use that effect to also get rid of this card and then to buff up your unison like the Piccolo with 2 markers, so it sticks a little bit better on the board. We are just experiencing a red deck with a Z unison that is very, 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 very high on markers, and we already know how beneficial that is. So imagine yourself playing this on turn 2, right? Using that effect, draw 1 card, discard 1 card from your hand, so +2, and you will discard this card from your hand, right? Which means you make -1, not really -1 in hand, because if you discard this card, you also draw another card, and your Piccolo also draws another card. So you're +1 in hand if you discard this one, and your Piccolo immediately goes up not to 3 markers, but to 5 markers, which then makes it possible to play the red-yellow Beerus offering card, right, that Krillin is running right now. So this card alone buffs the deck quite a lot, and it lets it also run the Beerus card, like I said. It's really huge, and maybe we can see the Piccolo unison getting played more now, because now the value is definitely there. Like Z unison with 5 markers in red turn 2, sign me up on that shit. Then we can also use like the free negate, the Fierce Foe free negate, right? We can also use that negate now and other stuff, because our unison will probably stick on board. The other card is way more interesting because it's not leader locked. So we can do funny things in here as well. Also, like, these buffs are Krillin buffs, but we'll come to that in a minute. So if your opponent has 2 or more energy, then we can play this one. We don't get this effect. Right? we're playing not her by skill, but from the extra card skill. But we can play her if our opponent has 2 or more energy. So basically, if we're going second, we can play her out in our turn 2 from our drop, and then we can place any number of red extras from our drop under this card. Any, not 3, any. What this means is that potentially if we already played her, let's say turn 4, right? We played her, she got removed, and we have a ton of extras in our drop. We can now put every single extra under that and basically clear our opponent's board. Buff, what can we buff? We can nearly buff everything, right? Battle cards. We can buff every battle card up to 25k we have, buff their battle cards up to 30k so they get KO'd, and then we can just swing with everything 25k at least. This is really, really huge. Also, this card has a nice synergy with the promo Son Goku. That minuses, so basically you can minus your own card to get rid of your opponent cards and then you can buff Goku up again. So this seems very, very huge. The other effect is also very interesting. This is also like Prison Freezer support, to be honest, because activate battle, top 5 search, any number of red extras in your drop. This is something some decks want nowadays. Also the Brody deck wants this, right? The Krillin deck wants this. And then you also draw 1 card afterwards, which is huge, and you get a 10k push. So this is like a real good turn 1 play for some decks that just care about having extras in their drop. As well as later on you can play a generic card. And like I said, this card is not leader locked at all. You can play this card in every deck. For example, in Krillin. In Krillin, it's even more hilarious because you can also run the first card. When this card in your hand is discarded by one of your skills. Luckily, in Krillin, there is a card that basically says discard 1, draw 2. It's not this one, I think it's Taunt, yeah. Discard 1 card from your hand, draw 2. So basically, the idea is, combined with your leader ability, that you +1 with this card. Well, funnily enough, if you discard the extra card, for example, you cycle even more, which might be a benefit, might not be a benefit, right? Draw 1, discard 1. You benefit off of it, and sadly you don't get this effect because I feel like this is like a 15k unison. However, what you can do and what might make sense is to run this card, right? This is a potential turn 1 play, which might be also very huge for you, so you can use your -3 ability on your Z unison earlier. And obviously this card is just generically good because especially in Krillin you can also discard it just to get a 5k push on your leader swing or when your leader's in battle. And you can also basically use the card to play out the Android 18. It's not even running here. You can play it earlier and then have a huge swing and a better board removal if this is what the deck needs right now. So this is a sneaky buff for every red extra deck basically. And this is a sneaky buff, I think, mostly for the Goku deck to make the unison stick more on board. I think this is cool support. I'm a blue player. Let's talk about this cards. This is a Nappa and Vegeta buff, like a pre-release leader that came out set 23 something. So we have a Z unison for 2 and 1. Blue is not having good Z unisons for 2 and 1 at the moment, so this might also be generically a good card. When this card is attacked, play 1 Cyberman token and it gains barrier and blocker for the turn. This is pretty huge, because if your opponents decide to swing at that card, you play a barrier blocker, so you have a little bit more of a defense. You also play a card that is a blocker, it's comboable, right? This is cool. And it also has the effect when one of your cards is removed from the battle area by a skill, this card gets 10k power for the turn. Activate main, sadly leader locked. If your leader is a Nappa card, add up to 2 cards from your life to your hand, then play up to 1 Cyberman card from your deck. I would have loved if this effect was not leader locked, because so many blue decks that awaken at 4 lives, which are really old, would have profited so much from this card. Also, like for example, Soul Striker would have been really good in this, right? Sadly, it's locked to the promo leader, which awakens at 4 or less life. We will have a look at that soon. And then if you're able to also remove something by a skill in your turn, this is even a 25k unison swing for 2 and 1. So I feel like this is a cool card. Could also be very good generically, right? If you just need this 2 and 1 unison and you have some weird shenanigans in your deck that also remove your cards. For example, I'm always thinking about 3Han. There are multiple cards that are also like getting rid of your own cards, like the SS3 Son Goku preparing for the final battle. So if you play this together with Nappa, you have a 25k swing offensively, which is really cool. And you also have a unisons for something like Heroic Prospect or other shenanigans in there. Then we have Vegeta, Haughty Prince. I don't know what haughty even means. I'm German based. I've never used these words. I know what naughty means, but this is something different. Activate main battle limit 1. If your leader has both Vegeta and Nappa, play this card from your hand, then play up to 1 blue Nappa card with an energy cost of 4 from a drop and rest mode. With its skills, this could be huge. If your Saiyan or Cyberman card is attacking, you choose one of your battle cards and KO it. When this card is played, switch your card that is in a battle with this card, then switch up to 1 of your energy to active mode at the end of the turn. So basically this is a delayed free play because you still need to pay 1. You will most likely play this card offensively, and then you will swing, for example, with a Cyberman. You will activate Vegeta's ability to play him from hand, play a Nappa 4-drop in rest mode, immediately KO that Nappa in rest mode, drawing 1 card, because most Nappas say if this card is removed by one of your Vegeta skill, draw 1. And then you can basically attack with him. Like, it's a really cool shenanigan to make a unexpected swing, right? Let's talk about the deck in detail. So these are all like example lists I have here. And as you can see, most of the Nappa have the effect of when this card is KO'd by Vegeta skill, draw 1. If this card is KO'd by Vegeta skill, draw 1. If this card is when this card is KO'd by Vegeta skill, draw 1. The interesting thing is now which Nappa cards, 4 cost or less, have some on-play abilities, right? Because this is like where it's interesting. This gains dual attack, so this card is shit for the effect. Then we have this card, which doesn't do anything on play, so it's shit. Does this card anything on play? No, that's shit. This card does something on play. So this card is usually locked to Reddits or to played by Scouter. And when this card is played, you can play 1 Cyberman token, which is really huge for the deck because you need the Cyberman tokens to further make up your play line. So I could see this card getting played by the effect, or maybe this card getting played by the effect. When this card is played, you can bottom deck something 5 cost or less. So now the Vegeta play is a sneaky bottom deck something 5 or less as well. I think besides that, there are not really good Nappa cards, so most likely these... Where are these? Oh, these 2 cards will be played by that effect. The interesting thing about the leader I want to get into, you need 4 less life to awaken. Combined with when this card attacks, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, makes it really possible that you can now awaken in turn 2, combined with your Unison, right? Because especially this card allows you to play 1 Cyberman from your Z deck, so you have immediately also a Z battle card in play. And then you can already put out some pressure because on the backside, you have the ability to play another Cyberman token. So by having the Unison out, you don't only get 1 Cyberman Z battle card, but also Cyberman token, which is cool. And then you can KO 1 of your Nappa cards, choose 1 of your blue Vegeta cards, and it gets 5k power and double strike for the battle. So by combining all of these, what we have right now, we can do a sneaky turn 2 play, where we swing with 1 of our Cybermans, for example, the Cyberman token. We play this card, then we play a Nappa card in rest mode, for example, the one that also plays a token, this one. And then we use our leader ability immediately to KO 1 of our Nappa cards as well, to get a 5k push and double strike and KO the other Cyberman token for the Vegeta to redirect the attack. And then to switch up to 1 of your energy to active mode. So this might be a really good turn 2 play for a 20k double strike at least, with restanding 1 at the end of the turn. And then if you leave your Cyberman Z battle card up, you could even activate something like Defending Friends or Heroic Prospect, because you also have the Nappa Unison out. Also cool about this deck got sneaky support. This is a dual attack card, which basically says, if your opponent tries to negate, fuck you, I will remove 1 of my Z cards and the attack goes through. Combined with a Z Unison, or combined with your Z battle card Cyberman tokens you're playing every turn, this effect will be really good in this deck. And then you have a dual attack swing with the potential of having a 35k double strike swing once per turn as well. So I think this deck could come back. The question is, how will you build the rest of the deck? There's the playline with Scouter, which is interesting. You still could do that, right? Especially because you now want to run those 2, and maybe you also still want to run this one. I'm not sure about the whole Reddits engine. This is really cool to get a Scouter out sneakily. I think people need to see what to do with it. It might be also a good idea to have a pseudo floodgate. Yeah, I think the buff for the deck is huge. I'm more excited that Blue now has a Unison that can put out some pressure. and is at least partly generic, like a 2-cost unison, right? Going for the next card. Gogeta BR support. I think everybody expected that this deck should get support. Gogeta is one of those leaders where everybody gets excited about when a new leader is dropping. Also, this deck was kind of sadly dead on release because we were in the meta dominated by Oceanus, maybe Nova, not that crazy at that time, but also Kitku. And even though this deck has a very good time fighting against Explosive Dance, Kitku was just too strong. So I'm happy that this deck finally gets support and maybe now it's time to shine. So we have SSG, Son Goku and Vegeta Realm of Triumph. When this card is added to your Z energy by your Gogeta BR skill, choose one. Place up to 1 Practicing Fusion from your Z deck into the battle area, or reduce the auto skill cost of Practicing Fusion in your battle area by 1 blue for the turn. Activate main limit 1. If your leader is a blue Gogeta BR card and you discard this card from your hand, draw 1 card. This card is so fucking good. Whenever I played the deck, I had the feeling that there is no time to play the fucking Z extra. Because in turn 2, you most likely want to play 2 of your Union fusions to benefit as most as possible from that turn. And then you have a draw 2 leader, so you're not really having an extra energy to spend. And usually in your turn 3, it's time for your big bombs or for more plays or maybe for Z units or something else. Now suddenly we have a way to free play our Practicing Fusion, or to also every turn after we've already free played that Z extra to activate this auto effect once a turn without paying in energy. This is really, really huge. Also, like, just the ability to have Vegetas and Gokus early in your drop is pretty good, because most of the times in turn 2 you were there like, okay, I have this 1/1 drop out, I have no cards in my drop right now, how do I Union Fusion now from drop? Here's your answer. You can just activate main, limit 1, draw 1, and since this is a dual name, it's really easy to set up. Really good card. Second card is a free Union Fusion, which could make your turn 2 even more explosive, at least if you're going second. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, blue Son Goku BR card and a blue Vegeta BR card, auto place 2 of your Z energy into the owner's drop. When this card is played, activate the skill. During this turn, the next time you play a blue Gogeta BR card with Union, it gains barrier for the turn. I don't like this card. The big problem about the Gogeta deck is that your 8-drop never sticks. And I don't mean with never sticks in your turn, I mean in your opponent's turn. And what this card is trying to fix is that you basically have a free play. So you're taking 2 cards from your drop, put them in your Z energy, and then you get rid of your 2 Z energy and play another Gogeta, right? So this is a way of, for free, generating a 15k swing for just a -1 in hand, and then to give your next blue Gogeta BR card barrier. But not for the end of the opponent's turn, just for the turn. And I don't see how this is fixing things, because most of the time you're playing your 8-drop Gogeta, you're swinging with that card. We can even open it up because we saw the support cards. So we play this Gogeta, we swing with it, and then we get floodgated to hell. And then we run out of battle phases we can get into, and then we're losing out on this effect, right? So usually our Z energy is stuck at some point because we're getting floodgated so much. And then when it's our opponent's turn, and where this effect might be really huge, because we can now decide if we go in battles or not, if we want to negate or not, it gets just easily removed because it has no protection whatsoever. The problem with this new card, like I said, is it just gives barrier for the turn. This is not enough. There is no way where you can cheat out. I would just close the stacks now. There is no way in hell where you can get this card out in their opponent's turn, therefore the barrier for the turn is not that huge. Our secret for the deck has barrier anyway until the end of our opponent's turn, so I don't see how this card is any good. It's not like we have random removal of 8-drop that often in our opponent's turn, right? And the others are like 5-drop. I mean, it's cool if you're playing against black, right? This is really huge because the cards can't get counterplayed anymore, but this is it then. So I see this more as a card to fight against black and fight against the one of charismatic than anything else. So this is okay. This, on the other side, is really, really good and will make the deck way more consistent. So if we look at the Practicing Fusion once again, we can cheat this out for free with a nice Z-stack, and then we have this for free, right? So suddenly we can give for free a Gogeta BR card Or we have barrier removal for free now. This was an effect we would usually never use because it never makes sense. Now, since we can use this effect every turn to play it and then the turn after to bottom deck something ignoring barrier, this is now really, really huge. So this is definitely a 4-off. I think this could be a side deck card. Or maybe like a 2-off or something. It comes down to your matchup most of the time. Maybe if you're playing against red and you want your 5 drops to stay alive and you're afraid of something like the Gohan defeating the demon, this could also be an option. But this card is just really good. It also has a winner card. Sadly, this doesn't have a winner card. Broly Feelings of Rage. I don't have any idea about this deck. I have a nice deck list here, so the plan of the deck is to free play a 4-drop Broly BR and up to 1 green Shilai or Limo BR cards. So I most likely think that these cards were made for this, because this is a 4-drop Broly. When this card is played, play up to 1 green Shilai BR card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your drop. Then choose all of your green battle cards and they gain barrier. So with this effect now, you get 1 green Broly out, you get 1 green Shilai or Lemo out, and then you get another Shilai out, right? And everything gains barrier. So you get 3 cards out for free. And then you have this effect. If your opponent has 2 or more energy and you place this card at the bottom, play up to 1 green Broly BR with an energy cost of 8 from your deck or hand and shuffle your deck. So this, again, is really huge because I think you can free play this, right? Because your leader can activate this for free. Yeah. So basically when you're on 2 energy, you can free play that shit, this one here. Then you can play the whole chain, and then you can go into an 8-drop Broly BR card. Because I don't know what kind of 8-cost Broly BR cards there are, we will just right now look it up. So we have an energy cost of 8 here, we have green here, and we just go by BR because this should be easy. And then we see 2 cards. This is 1 card. It's a triple strike. When this card is played, plays up to 7. I think this is made for the deck, right? This looks like made for the deck with the extra cards. Yeah. I think this is a good idea because you have the Dragon Balls in your drop anyway. It doesn't specify which color the extras are. So you can KO something, and then you have basically a free, or for 1 energy, you have a 35k triple strike. The other option would be this card. During battles with this card, attacking your opponent can activate counter skills with cost 2 or more and choose 1 card and place it, choose one of your opponents. I mean, you have options now, right? SPR is good looking, so you can decide what you want to go into. I think this card is very, very huge. It gives the deck quite a bit of aggression. And then we have a new Chilai as well, and Shenron. Chilai and Shenron, this is interesting, and it can attack. If your leader has a green Shenron card, choose all cards in your battle area and place them at the bottom of his owner's deck, then draw 2. So this is a card you most likely want to play with the other Broly's effect. And then at the end of the turn, once you're finished, you bottom deck everything and draw 2 to refill your hand. And then if your leader backside is Chilai and Lemo the Kind-Hearted and you reveal this card from your hand, add up a total of 3 cards with Dragon Ball and or Green Desire cards from your deck to your hand, shuffle your deck, then place the same number of cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck. So this is like a consistency piece. Reveal it, take 2 Dragon Balls, bottom deck 3 other shit, or 2 Dragon Balls, 1 of those Desire cards, so you can awaken way earlier, because this is an old Wish leader, so you need 7 Dragon Balls in your drop leader. And then you can do this basically, this stuff. Yeah, this is really good. The problem with all those Wish leaders, sadly, is yeah, that if like 4 of 8 Dragon Balls are stuck in your life, there's no way that this will work, right? If I don't forget anything, and this is like the one exception deck where you can put cards in your life again. I'm not sure about this. I think it's cool support. It's an old deck people will love to go back to. Which is the same for Metacooler. They don't give up on this deck, so we have a Z Extra. The Metacooler core card on top of this card gains double strike. Interesting. Activate main limit 1 if all of your energy is mono yellow. You choose 1 big Getty star in your battle area and place it under this card. Play up to 1 the Infinite Force Metacooler core from your hand on top of this card. Good. And then we have also another card. This is now a little bit Critical blocker, choose 2 of your Meta Cooler cards and place them in owner's drop. Play this card from your hand. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's rest mode battle cards and KO it. And if your leader is a yellow Meta Cooler core card, when this card is removed from a battle area by a skill, place up to 1 core from your Z deck into the battle area. So, this card was mainly made, or these 2 cards were mainly made for the yellow deck, right? So if we're looking into the yellow deck here, this is like an example list. It's a really old BT9 reboot leader, and it's really cool. The idea is to spam out your Meta Coolers and then to buff them up and to go all in. There was also like a kinda green version of this deck, BT17, where you can also play some cards and then enjoy live. There are also like cards like this, which fit in either the green or the yellow deck, because there was also a check land. So you can basically decide which deck you want to play. The thing about this support is that it's only meant for playing mono yellow things. This card you can play in both decks, right? It's a critical blocker and you KO something. This is cool. The rest doesn't matter. It's critical blocker. Nice, I guess. And then if we look at the Z Extra, this is meant for the mono yellow playstyle. So you're not allowed to play the check land because then you miss out on this effect. We can also look at the Infinite Force Meta Cooler and see if the permanent and everything makes it good. So where is it? The Infinite Force Meta Cooler. So you can play this for free. And when you play this card or when it attacks, if Big Jetty Star is under this card, which should be the name of this card. No, it's just core. Sad. Yeah, then it doesn't matter. So you can free play this card and then you have a free 25k double strike, or not even for free, but for 1. Oh no, you choose the Big Jetty Star, place it under this card, and then, okay, so the effect is live basically. So this effect is live, so you get an additional 2 Meta Cooler more from your drop area and play them. The interesting part about this is that it doesn't specify like the card name, but the character name, so you can play any Meta Cooler basically. Most likely the good ones, like for example this one, which gives all your Meta Cooler cards battle a double strike. This could be really huge, right? And then maybe also the critical blocker, or this card, because every Meta Cooler card in your battle area gets 5k power. And since this card doesn't specify the color, you can also play this card without like needing access to yellow energy. So I can see this deck going places. I think it's still very gimmicky, because the main gimmick of this deck is to play as many of those cards as possible. But with cheeky support we got when the Freezer deck came out, we can do a lot of funny things now. And yeah, there might be really good cards that can be played now off of this effect, because we can now easily cheat it out without like needing to pay 4 energy, which is really cool. So maybe I will even play this deck, because I have all the Meta Cooler cards here, because I'm a huge fan of gimmick decks. Maybe I build it. Maybe I build it. It seems fun. And you can easily get rid of this card by your own skills as well. Because if I'm not correct, you have 2 or more. Choose up to 1 of your Meta Cooler cards in a battle area and it gets for the duration of the turn. But I think there was also a way of getting rid of your own Meta Cooler cards easily. I need to look that up again, but I think it seems fun and interesting, especially like cheating out this card for free or for 1 energy, and then like getting the bomb turn is pretty huge. Okay, next deck, it's Dripku again. Dripku got support in Regional, I think last year, the year before. Nobody played it. Now it gets even more support with a new Unison. Empower Yellow 3, when this card is played, look at up to 7 cards, and up to 1 yellow Son Goku card, or up to 1 yellow Unison card to your hand and shuffle your deck. Draw 1 card, discard 1 card for the +2, so to get rid of your Unisons in your hand, put them in drop. And reduce the activate main skill on Son Goku Fearless Fighter in your leader area by double yellow for the turn. So let's immediately look at this card. Here it is. It has a lot of text. So this effect is now free. Place 8 yellow Unison cards from a drop area at the bottom of your deck in any order. Switch this card to active mode and it gets 10k power and double strike for the turn. This is interesting. I'm not a huge fan of restanding and giving double strike and activate main speed, because your opponent can immediately negate it. And but then again, it's for free now. Could be cool, could not be cool. By the way, my cat in the background is making some weird noises because he wants to play, so I need to play with him very soon. I need to speed up. Yeah, I think it's okay. You can free play the Gohan as well, right? You will most likely look for a specific new Son Goku, this one. So basically, you will play this one most of the time at the end of the battle in which this card was used in a combo, play this. And then you can place one more card from your deck in the drop, and then you can KO stuff, which is really, really cool. The other support card for the deck is this one, also a card that you might want to search with your Son Gohan Unison. If your leader's backside is as a Son Goku Fearless Fighter when this card is played during this turn, when you would play Unison with Empower from your hand, reduce the specified cost by yellow. So you now not only have one free play with your leader swing, you have another free play with this Goku, and then you can play one of those cards. So this could be out for 2 now, right? Yep, because it also has Empower. So this could be go up by 2. This is now free. Yeah, this is free. This is free. This is free. This is free. Maybe there are more that are free. I'm not a yellow player. I'm not sure. So this is cool. You can just draw one and play this card. Also cool. And you have an activate battle, so you can buff up one of your yellow unisons once per turn. So you could make a really huge swing, right? Especially paired with this card. You suddenly now have a interesting triple strike, triple attack, and then push, push, push swing. So might be really, really interesting. I'm not a yellow player, so I let you decide on that. Then we have one of the decks that are forgotten. The Buu deck, the original 3Han. This is a very interesting, or the hand dump deck. This is very interesting. When you have no cards in your hand, awaken. And then the effect on the back side, if you have no cards in your hand at the end of the turn, draw 5 cards, and then you can choose 1 card in your hand, place it in your drop area, choose one of your opponent's battle card, 3 or less, place it under this card gets 5 power for the duration of the turn. So you can basically get rid of, the plan is to get rid of your hand every time, and then free play, free play, free play, free play, free play, draw 5 cards at the end of the turn. So you want to get rid of your hand. The main problem with this deck is, it kind of stinks now. So all this stuff is basically played for free, so there is a chain. I don't know where it starts. Maybe it starts here, maybe it starts here. I'm not sure where exactly it starts, but it starts somewhere. And then you basically free play all the other ones on drop. So you play this card on top of this in active mode, then you play this card on top of this in active mode, and you play everything from your drop on this in active mode. And then you swing, 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 swing. So what does the new cards do? You place all cards from your hand under this card. When this card is placed in the battle area, play up to 1 Majin Buu with an energy cost of 2 from a drop, and it gains barrier for the turn. So energy cost of 2, this one, and it gains barrier for the turn, which is really, really cool. And then you can play him, it gets barrier, so it cannot be the target of counterplays, for example, like the black one or the charismatic, the one-off. And then you can play a 3 or 4 drop for free, which is really, really cool. And then you can go into your whole chain and you're not missing out on anything. You don't need to hardcast that. You can just play the Z extra instead and have fun with it. And then at the end of the turn, add up to 5 cards from under this card to your hand, then remove this card from the game. This is really huge because when you awaken, you can first decide to use this effect, because both are at the end of the turn autos, to get your 5 cards back to hand, or to draw 5 new cards, and then remove this card to get the 5 cards back to hand you put under. So now you're suddenly sitting at 10 cards in hand when passing to your opponent. And you can basically repeat this every turn if you like to, because it's a safe way to play the Majin Buu 2 cost from your drop. So I can see this getting played every turn from there on. Then we also have the interesting new Majin Buu, which also might fit in Vegex. Activate main, limit 1, burst 3. For black, discard 1 card from your hand, play this card from your drop. Additionally, if you have 0 cards in your hand, play up to 1 black Majin Buu card with an energy cost of 6 from your drop on top of this card. So the main idea is, after you dumped your whole hand and you're done with your chain, that you discard your last card from your hand, play this from your drop and burst 3 to get your drop filled with the Majin Buu targets you need, and then you play a 6 drop on top of this card, so this one, and this one is really an annoying card, because it can be removed from a battle area by your opponent's skills. When this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't use non-leader's card skills to add cards from the deck to their hand, and what's even more annoying, this is like a free swing every turn and a potential 10k Triple Striker. Maybe there are other 6-drops, I'm not sure. Also, the funny thing about this 6-drop is if you pair it with blue a little bit, you can basically evolve this one on top for free, which is another 60k triple strike swing, and then you can do funny evolve chains. And then if your leader is a black Majin Buu card, add this card from under a Z extra in your battle area to your hand. This is just so you can make use of this effect a little bit earlier, or if you want to have it in your drop for whatever reason. Or if you need some combo power, whatever. I think this deck could come back. I never played that deck. I think Daniel tested the deck, so leave me a comment down below if this support might change anything. I think it's cool that you now can free play a little bit here and that the first target at least is protected, so this could make your chain more reliable. But I could see a problem with like having enough cards in drop to evolve on top, because you put those cards, I mean, you will empty your first hand before you awaken, and then the second hand you will put under this card. So yeah, maybe you will have enough targets in your drop, but still leave me down your comments below. And then we have like the last support set, which is like for me the most fun, because in the last video I presented to you my 2 ideas on how to fix SS4 Vegito, and now we have a fix for SS4 Vegito, which I heavily dislike. Let's see, we have another Overwhelm 5 Sengoku Xeno. Counterattack, if your leader is a black Vegito Xeno guard, play this card. Permanent, if you have a black Z Unison with a specified cost of 2 in play, you may activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. When I first read this, I thought this was generic, but it's not, because it's leader locked. And then auto for 1 black, place 1 Vegito Xeno card from under your Unison under this card. When this card is played, play up to 1 Vegito Xeno with an energy cost of 6 from your warp on top of this card. Interesting card. Obviously this is meant for Vegito Xeno. I could see a world where people go back to the Vegito Unison a little bit more. For example, if we see a potential hit of Demigra Z Unison in the future, right? People might agree that Vegito Z Unison is still the best, so they go back to this card. And then there might also be an argument to run 6-drop Vegito again for other black generic decks, and maybe also this card, because you can just overrun 5 and then get basically your Vegito Xeno from your warp directly on the field. I think the most interesting part about this card is the free counterattack. Black has a lot of those right now, and now giving Vegito another free counterattack is really huge. I'll come to the problems later. Then we have the Vegito Xeno. When this card is played, overrun 5, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and send it to its warp. Auto limit 1, if your leader is a black Vegito Xeno card and it's your opponent's turn, when this card is used in a combo, choose up to one of your black Vegito Xeno cards with an energy cost of 6 and switch it to active mode, and then activate battle. Use this card in a combo from under your black Vegito Xeno black card or black Unison. This card is meant to be Potara on. So you want to Potara on this card, and then in your opponent's turn you want to block with your 6-drop Vegito or your 6-drop Gogeta or whatever, like with the blocker. And then you want to combo with this card. Oh no, you want to put this on a Vegito Xeno. You want to block the first swing, Unison plus is 1, blah 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 blah. And then you combo with this card from under it, you resend your Vegito so you can block another swing basically. So this is the main idea of this card. These cards are alright, but the main problem of the deck is the Unison dependency. And my idea to fix this deck was to give the deck an easier way first to play as Unison by making it 1-1 combined with a Z extra, and to give it barrier. The problem is this deck will still die against green Gohan rare, which is a huge problem. And every other deck that has Unison removal with minusing or with bottom decking a Unison or whatever. So the problems of the decks are still not solved. It's now nice that you can play a Vegito Xeno from your drop or warp. This is like really cool. It's also cool that you can restand to double block on your opponent's turn. But let's be honest, like double blocking was not the problem. Or like playing the 6-drop Vegito also wasn't the problem. The problem of the deck is that the Unison is so easily to remove right now, especially in a meta where green is kinda also available, that I feel like this won't fix anything. The deck will be cooler against everything now that can't remove Unisons, but it's still suffering from the same problems. So even though I like this card, and you could even think about, can we use this somehow generically? Because this is also not leader locked, right? So In other decks, when we use Potara, we could still use this effect to have a free combo. But that's about it. It's nothing special. It's not even a dual name card for more fusion shenanigans or Potara shenanigans. So yeah, I feel like out of all of the cards I presented you today, I'm most excited about the blue cards, obviously, because I'm a blue player. And I'm also kind of excited about Metacooler. I think those two cards are also really huge, like the red ones. I'm not sure about the green ones. I think Peter played the deck some time ago, so maybe he has more of a good eye for that. And I don't even know if that will help the deck, because the deck seems just dead. Whenever it's pushed, it's still dead. I'm not sure. The winner cards are those four. I think it's a nice collection. These are not generic cards, by no means. I think the most generic card is the red extra card. We could make an argument for the Nappa card being included in some blue decks, especially decks that get rid of their own battle cards to then have a 25k swing in your turn. And there might be some arguments for the Goku. But this time it's not generic time, it's leader lock time. So I hope you enjoyed the video. These were my first impressions. Oh, holy shit, this is long. But I like to talk. Leave your comments down below what you think about the decks. Maybe there are some synergies I missed. Please post them so we all can see them. And hopefully next week we get our regional prizes, because in 1 month we have a European regional and nobody knows what kind of prizes they can expect. Until then, see you around and bye.